Hello and good morning everyone, and welcome back again to BPS. And as you all can see, there's one important news today which is published by NDTV and all other news channels, which is Om Birla versus K Suresh, rare election for Lok Sabha Speaker today. So you can see what they are writing is it is a very rare election for Lok Sabha Speaker, which rarely it has happened ever in India's history. So why this is a very rare election, and why Lok Sabha Speaker's election in India's parliamentary history has become one of the rarest events. So these are certain things which are important from exam point of view, and this is exactly why we have come here to discuss. And in the mint also you can see it is the time that is given here is 8:28 a.m. 26 June today. So what they have published is Lok Sabha Speaker election today, why India bloc force a contest despite numbers stacked in NDA's favor, 5 points. So why everybody is writing it in this way? Because we know that by parliamentary convention, it is always the the member from the majority party from the majority party who always becomes the speaker, and from the opposition one person becomes the deputy speaker. So this has always been the parliamentary convention, but this time there are certain events which has happened in the history of politics, or which has happened in the history of parliamentary politics in India. That is why today we are witnessing one of the rarest event, and which is the election of the Lok Sabha Speaker between the majority party and the opposition party. Okay. Now the contest will be between BJP's Om Birla, who is 3-time MP from Rajasthan's Kota, and the speaker in the last Lok Sabha, and Congress 8th-term MP from Kerala, K Suresh. So the contest is between two persons. One is from NDA and the other is from the India bloc. Okay, but by convention we know that it has always been the speaker has always belonged to the party who has earned the majority votes. Okay, and the deputy speaker has always belonged to the opposition party, but this time both the opposition and the party who has got the majority vote, both are fighting for the same post. The speaker is elected by simple majority, taken into account the number of MPs present and voting. That means the simple majority. If how many numbers are present in there, out of that numbers you just have to get the 50% of the votes, and that becomes the simple majority. Usually the speaker of the Lok Sabha is appointed with consensus between the ruling and the opposition camps. While the speaker is from the ruling camp, the deputy speaker's chair is traditionally reserved for an opposition MP. So this has always been a convention in our parliamentary, always been from the time that we have started the practice of parliamentary. From that time itself we have followed this convention, that the speaker will always belong to the ruling or to the majority, and the opposition will always have the deputy speaker for them. Now there is also a why this rarest election event is being considered, or why this rarest election event has happened in the history of parliament, is because of one simple reason, and which is a vacant deputy speaker's chair. The deputy speaker's chair was vacant in the 17th Lok Sabha, that is in the former Lok Sabha. This is the 18th one, and in the last 5 years. In PM Modi's first term, the deputy speaker post was given to BJP's ally AIADMK. Okay, so in the history, first time ever it has happened that even the post of the deputy speaker was also given to the party who was in power, or who was in the majority. So this has happened in the rarest of the case in the history of the parliament, and that is why, and again in the 17th Lok Sabha, what happened, the deputy speaker's chair remained vacant. And this time also why, that is why the NDA and the India bloc has together come up, and now both of them are fighting for the post of the speaker. That means now India bloc is actually accusing that if you are not following the convention, why should we also follow the convention? Why should we only take the post of the deputy speaker? Why not we also contest for the seat of the speaker? Now the India has 293 MPs in the Lok Sabha. The ruling alliance is also expected to get the support of Andhra Pradesh, Jagan Jagan Mohan Reddy's YSR Congress Party's 4 MPs, taking its number to 297. So already they have a majority, and by convention we know that by parliamentary rule, it is the person is been selected or is being elected by the simple majority. So since NDA already has a majority here, so definitely it is going to win. But what the opposition is trying to say, what they are trying to convey, they are trying to convey that there are certain conventions which you must follow as a tradition, no matter what political party you are. But there are certain things which has always been happening in the history of the parliament, in the history of democracy of India, and it becomes very important for us to follow those conventions, so that we remained very much in ground with the practice of democratic ideal practice in the history of India. Now the opposition India bloc has at least 236 MPs and can expect support from the smaller parties and some more independents. But TMC, being part of India but not, has yet confirmed whether or not its 29 MPs will vote for K. Suresh or not. Now Mamata Banerjee's TMC has not given a statement whether they are supporting K. Suresh or not. There may be different political agenda, we don't know, but still the opposition lacks a majority. So it has always, now we know that who is going to win, who is going to lose. Now it's a win-win situation already for the NDA. But the thing is, why I am giving this, why every news article is publishing this, because this is a rarest event which has happened in the history of the parliament, and which every person who is interested in political science or who is going to be a civil servant, is very important for him to understand these smaller dynamics of the politics. Now the office of the Speaker in India is a living and dynamic institution which deals with the actual needs and problems of Parliament in the performance of its functions. Okay, so the Speaker's role is to carry out the function of the Parliament. Article 93 of the Constitution empowers the election of both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. So it has been mentioned in Article 93 of the Constitution that there shall be a post of the Speaker and also a post of the Deputy Speaker. Now the functions between the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker is the same, but the thing is, when the Speaker is not there, when he is absent, then his role will be performed by a Deputy Speaker. The Speaker is the constitutional and the ceremonial head of the House. The institution of Speaker and Deputy Speaker originated in India in 1921 under the Government of India Act of 1919, which is Montague-Chelmsford reform. So it is the first time ever the post of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker happened in the year 1921. At that time, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker were called the President and Deputy President respectively, and the same nomenclature continued till 1947. But the Government of India Act 1935 changed the nomenclature of President and Deputy President of the Speaker to Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. So only the nomenclature changed after Government of India Act 1935, but before that the functions were similar, the role were similar, and the nomenclature, it was just different. Now the election of the office of the Speaker, the criteria is given that the Constitution of India requires the Speaker should be a member of the House. Now you see, the Constitution has not written anywhere that the Speaker should always belong to the majority party. The Constitution has not defined that the Speaker should always belong to the majority party. The Constitution has only stated that the Speaker should be a member of the House. He should be a member of the Lok Sabha. He should be a sitting MP. That is the only criteria. It doesn't matter which political party you are from. But what has happened, since our India has a lot of political parties, India is a multi-party system, India needs proper functioning of the Parliament in every form, because the Parliament is, they make laws, they do everything. So it becomes very important for the smooth transaction of the business of the House. But if all the political parties, if they start fighting over the seat of the Speaker, then it becomes really difficult for the proper functioning of the House. So that is why by convention it was always decided that whoever wins, the Speaker will be from that party, and whoever sits in the opposition, the deputy speaker will be from that party. So this has always been the convention. Now there are no specific qualification prescribed for being selected, or for being elected as the speaker. Now there are no specific qualification that you must belong to this party or you must belong to that party. There are no specific criteria or qualifications given in the constitution. So usually member belonging to the ruling party is elected as a speaker. So this is by a convention. This is not by any constitutional norm. The process has evolved over years where the ruling party nominates its candidate after informal consultation with leaders of other parties. So you see, it is not even a formal consultation. It is an informal consultation. That means everybody knows that a person from that political party, from the ruling party, is going to be a speaker. So it becomes more of an informal consultation. It is not even a formal consultation. So this was a time that we had seen the convention of the election of the speaker. But this is the first time in India's history that has happened that both the parties, both the ruling party, both the majority party and the opposition party, both are fighting for the seat of the speaker. Now, role and power of speaker: he is the final interpreter of provisions of the Constitution of India, rules of procedure and conduct of business of Lok Sabha and parliamentary proceedings within the house. Every business which is conducted inside the Lok Sabha will be conducted under the speaker. In matters regarding interpretation of these provisions, he or she often gives rulings which are respected by members and are binding in nature. That means the rules of conduct of the business of the house. He is going to set certain standards and rules that this is the rule of the conduct of the business. Doesn't matter which party you belong to, you must adhere to these principles, to these rules and regulations, and we must sit as a parliamentarian, as a responsible parliamentarian, and our job is to enact laws. She presides over joint sitting of two houses, as you all know. So if there is a joint sitting, if there is a dispute between both the houses, and if there is a joint sitting, it is always being presided by the speaker. Such a sitting is summoned by president to settle a deadlock between the two houses on a bill. Let's say if there is any dispute over a bill between the both the houses, then the president will call for a joint sitting. The president will call for a joint sitting, and then from then on everything will be conducted. Now it is the speaker who decides the qualification or disqualification of a member of Lok Sabha arising on the ground of defection under provisions of the 10th schedule. So it is always the speaker who decides the questions of disqualification. Okay, so whether a member should be disqualified or not, because a long time ago you must have heard this phrase, no, Aya Ram Gaya Ram. So this was an era of parliamentary defection. Everybody used to change the party overnight and nobody knew the fate of which political party that person is going to join. So because of this, a law had to be passed which is known as anti-defection law. Now there are certain grounds of defection. So if the speaker feels that this person has violated certain rules or procedures of the parliamentary proceedings, then he or she has to be disqualified. Let's say, for example, recently you must have heard about that TMC Mohua Moitra. She also got disqualified because of a certain controversy surrounding over the kind of questions that she was or the nature of the questions that she was posing in front of the parliamentarians. So this was a controversy where she was found to be guilty or whatever. We don't know much about the details, but still whatever was found over the news, we could only find that she was later disqualified because of this. Okay, because there are certain rules of procedure or the business, how you conduct the business of the house. If the speaker feels that you have not conducted the business as per rules or as per the standard rules and regulations been set up by the parliamentary convention, then you are not supposed to be member of the parliament anymore. So you will be disqualified. Now the 52nd amendment to the Indian Constitution vests a power in the speaker. So this power of the speaker to qualify or disqualify any member of the house is being vested by the Constitution of India, by the 52nd amendment. But in 1992, this particular role of the speaker was questioned in the Supreme Court, and then it was brought to the judgment that such kind of such kind of verdict by the speaker can be a matter of question under the judicial review. That means the speaker under no circumstances cannot make any member disqualify just because he feels that that member has not followed any rules or regulations. Okay, so the speaker also needs to adhere to the rules of the constitution, that if his or her act of any kind of, if his or her act has been found to be against a constitution,